Beautiful people, this is episode 97. Now, 97 episodes, a lot of fucking episodes. So if you've been rocking with me this long, I'm sorry. Thank you. I talk about a lot. I do a lot, but we are here and we're still assisting the collective. Now, I got to remember to plug myself, though, because I started a podcast consultant. So if you want to get into podcast, hit me up. I will show you how to have guest features, social media presence, and just how to do this shit, long term. So I'll provide my email at the bottom of the description. Hit me up, okay? On today's episode, man, like I said, episode 97. If you're new to the show, episodes drop every single Sunday. You can find me on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Okay. Now let's get to the nitty gritty of why you're here. On today's episode, guys, Meghan drops by the chat. Meghan specializes in working with people with addictions, trauma, and illness. It is her belief that as human beings, we have the ability to transcend past our current experiences and heal in an extremely transformational way through spirituality, purpose, energy, and quantum physics. Meghan, welcome to the show.
Hello, Rich. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Thank you for being on. I gave you like a little mini red carpet, but for those who don't know about you and what you got going on, please enlighten us.
Oh my God. First of all, I just want to say, me and you have kind of been connected for a little bit on Twitter, and we just kind of like aligned in that way. And it's just so cool. Like, I feel like right when I was kind of, trying to manifest and calling in and I really love being a guest on podcasts, and I was calling that in, and you posted something that was just about like being your authentic self and, stripping away like these masks that we've created for ourselves. And I'm like, holy shit, like that's my program. Like, that's what I do. Like, that's what I do with my clients. And it was just funny. You're like, we should do a podcast together. So I just love the way that aligned with the universe, and it was like such divine timing. So super grateful to be here. But yeah, so I work with clients. I'm a therapist by trade. And I started working with people with, addictions and trauma, and started to realize that, changing someone's cognitive structure and going through like the reframing with the mind and that just wasn't cutting it for people. And there's so much more to healing than just healing the mind and transforming the mind. So basically what I do is like a transformation of your entire human experience, your entire being, right? So it's like mind, body, spirit, heart. So yeah.
Now talk to us. So how did you, I like to get to know my co-host, as you will. How did you even get into this journey? Like, I feel like everybody's like, maybe it's just me, but I feel like every coach or like specialist, we've all had some trauma in our life. It's kind of like we alchemized and then we're like, you know what, we need to help other people. How did your story start?
Oh, I love this question so much. So I actually went through my own issues with filling myself with everything other than my own love, right? And crazy, I know. And
on it, though.
Oh my God, right? Like, it's like this void that I kept filling in myself. And what I realized now that, I've been doing this stuff for so long, but I realized that I had created a reality that was based on everyone else's needs, wants, and desires for me, and none of my own.
Wait, say that again, because that's
right.
People don't understand that you created your own reality where people's needs and opinions and etc. were more important than your own.
Oh my God. I mean, like familial stuff, societal stuff, right? All these expectations that are placed on us, and we're told who to be. And even like growing up, right? I mean, our voices are silenced. Our needs are silenced. Like, you lose these fragments of yourself, and they're like core wounds that you end up creating your reality based on, this person you become that is so far away from your authentic self.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, I was really depressed. I was Man, it was a really dark time for me, but it was like, you're a Scorpio too,
Yeah, I
right?
keep forgetting that. Yeah, we're the like
Yeah,
the true rebirth phoenix shit for real.
for real. I mean, yeah, like, I mean, I literally burned my life to the ground. Like when I realized that,
Did you self-sabotage a lot too?
oh, totally. Oh my God. I mean, that's all I did. I mean, I felt like because I was so inauthentically me, like,
Yeah.
like I felt like I was just putting on, an act and a mask every single day. And it was, ah, sucked.
I get that 1000%. I think too, because before I came like aware of just like it's stages with this. I don't like using the word spirituality anymore because I just feel like it's kind of like a label. I kind of just use
Hmm.
like the journey of self. So stages of the journey of
Yeah.
self, if you will. You have the awakening, like, oh shit, there's a universe, right? There's something bigger than me. And then you realize that, okay, I'm the creator of my reality kind of shit. But it's to an extent. And then you hold yourself accountable for your creations. Like, okay, if my vibration is whack, I'm going to experience this kind of shit. And then it gets to a point where you're like, damn, I'm responsible for those I'm encountering in my existence because they are vibrating me, but also I need to break these patterns that are no longer serving me. So it's just a lot of accountability. And as a Scorpio, we didn't want to hear that shit, but we had to.
Oh my God. I know, right? It is so true. But in saying that, like I love like because I'm sure we have kind of like the same path in regards to like, just awakening and like the rebirth and like the phoenix rising and right. Because that's like what we do. It's like death and destruction, right? And then rebirth.
That makes so much sense when you say it like that. That's no wonder we self-sabotage.
I know. I know. But I mean, it's just so crazy. Like when you have this awakening, I was just like, fuck this. Like I
Yeah.
am not living the rest of my life like this. I'm not like so like I said, I started really digging deep and healing all that shit, like all the subconscious, you know, patterns that I was holding related to abandonment and lack and scarcity and being
Can we
seen,
talk about
right?
that
Like,
though? That's power. So the abandonment. I'm vulnerable with the show, so I'm just honest with my shit. So
do
my
it.
abandonment came from like the emotional neglect from my mother. So that manifested in me seeking external things that supported that programming, that extorted that. So anything that was like actually good for me, I pushed that shit to the side because like, no, I want you. I want to date my parent kind of shit. Or just have relationships with people
Same.
that like mirror my parents. That people don't understand that. And that's a big pill to swallow though.
Oh my God. Rich, I literally like the mirror that I was kind of like holding and what I learned from like growing up in like my parents and like my mom's deep abandonment wound from her dad dying really young, right? That was like so
The fact
intergenerational,
that you
but
know that though,
the awareness,
huge.
right?
And we can forgive them for that because now we know that
Yeah.
that's why they were the way they were. Powerful.
Totally. I mean, that was a big process for me, but I mean, I actually, got into a marriage and married somebody based on like this like self-sabotage, like trauma bond, like what all these like core wounds. And it's like, looking back, it's like I know that it wasn't him. Like it was just a reflection of me and like what my shit was. And you're right, so many people don't understand that. Like you literally are the creator of your reality. The entire universe responds to your frequency and it's going to mirror everything back to you. Until you clear that shit, you're just creating more suffering, right?
You said a key part. I want to backtrack a bit. You said it wasn't his fault. All he was
Mhm.
doing was mirroring the pattern, the programming that you admitted, and you guys were trauma bonded based off yourself.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn. I know. It's just wild, like, being able to look back and see that those were just my entire subconscious was creating this reality, right? Until you can clear that shit from your energy, you're just going to keep creating the same cycles, right? The same core wounds present themselves in your reality unless you clear them, right? And that's like that's the cool shit that I get to do all the time. And I literally, I love it. I love getting to the deep, right? You can
Because
totally
we're, you
relate.
know,
Like,
we're in depth beings, you know, the
yeah.
Scorpios, we know.
Yes. Yeah.
Damn. Now, somebody who's listening to this, Rich and Megan, what do you mean that I'm dating my parents? I'm dating my subconscious pattern. It's, I feel like every time when you explain to people like they're the creator of their reality, I have to like break it down and I guess like, I don't want to say breadcrumbs, but kind of like steps kind of shit. So you
Yeah.
have a subconscious mind, guys. That subconscious mind stores information consciously or unconsciously, right? For example, let's say you sleep with the TV on. I highly recommend don't do that shit. You don't know what subliminal program is being entered in your subconscious mind. I say that because I was guilty of doing that as a child, and who knows what kind of realities I was creating or patterns and shit.
Amen.
Oh, fucking no. But you have to be. Now, I think I tweeted this either like last week or the week before that. Like, we have to be the gatekeepers of our subconscious mind because either someone's hijacking our, you know, matrix or subconscious mind, or we're being the programmers of it. Either way, we're programming this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really wild when you break it down like that, because, you know, even like the things that like you said, watch on TV, the music that you listen to, the people that you're interacting with, right? I mean, it's all just a mirror of yourself. And I think it's great that you're breaking this stuff down for people, because, you know, and that's why I created this like self-study program, because it's something that I wish that people had, or I wish that people had created, like for me when I was going through my awakening, because, you know, people were talking about chakras and I'm like, what the is
What
the
is it?
is the throat
You
chakra?
can
Like,
curse on the podcast. Don't hold. Just let it out. Let it
yeah,
out.
I know. So you know, that's like one of the programs that I work with people on, is just that like beginning, like the breadcrumbs, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
and helping people find their voice, and, you know, just learning that like you are such a powerful co-creator, like you are amazing beyond belief. Like, we're so disempowered in our reality, you know, with society, and just like, you know, you have to like work hard to like get to the top and like, you know, sacrifice everything. And it's like, when you can step into your feminine and really just create from this like beauty and grace, it doesn't have to be so hard. Life does not have to be this hard.
See, I think that's too, like with the grind culture. Like, we have to, and I don't get me wrong, it's some things we have to work hard towards,
Totally.
right? Like, for you to be in the position where you are now and will continue to be, you have to put in the work. You have to figure out how I'm going to reach clients, how I'm going to be relatable, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to put in that time, but it doesn't have to be that I'm exhausting myself to achieve that result.
Right.
Because no, you don't have to do that. You burning yourself out. And that's what that's the whole grind, no sleep shit. No, I'm gonna get my sleep and I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna do what I need to do.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? Like, putting in that aligned, committed action is so important, right? But it's like, you don't have to be in suffering in order to like live a life you love and a life of abundance and freedom. Like, you can actually like work hard, but like have fun while doing it, right? And like be yourself. And I think that's like the core of the work that I do, and like the, you know, the stuff we talk about, is when you can strip down and take off the masks, like you can be the truest expression of your soul self, right? And that leads to your purpose, and that leads to having fun and like living and being in this beautiful reality that you created with the universe, right? So cool.
You say vulnerability and stripping away the layers that no longer serve. Recently, because you get lost, like with this podcast, you get lost in the different directions that this, you know, simulation, this matrix, this beautiful life that we're going in. And then it was like a month ago, I want to say. It was just, I had like a download that said, you need to be authentic self, you need to be vulnerable, you need to take off the mask completely. Like, I was portraying the character to an extent, but I wasn't being real. I wasn't showing, like, I'll show you the good parts, but goddamn it, you gotta see the ugly parts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I was like, let me just be vulnerable. And it's just something about being vulnerable that's so fucking powerful. Like, just, I'm not
Yeah.
okay today, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Shit I went through. How can I reuse my platform to, with my Twitter page, to help others who need this message, right? How can I structure these tweets to help someone? So I was like, I need to tap back into that because I haven't been using my platform as a way to assist people, and I need to tap back into that. But vulnerability is powerful as shit, and it's okay. It's kind of like it's you tapping into that divine feminine too. And when people are scared to tap into their heart space, if you need to cry, you better do the ugly cry. I don't care. If you need time to yourself, take time, but be honest and operate from the heart space because we need that.
No, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. We need that in society, right? I mean, we've been so programmed to be in our masculine that we've really disempowered the feminine part of ourselves in our heart
Yep.
space. And it's not okay. It's not okay to be, deep in your heart space and be vulnerable with people. And I think that, being authentic and being vulnerable will get you further ahead in life than anything else, because the shit that you're scared to say and the mask you're scared to take off
Yep.
actually is what people need to hear.
Thank you.
They need to hear that shit to heal, right? And I feel like, do you feel like this too? Like the minute that you take off one mask and you're like, okay, I'm gonna share this really scary thing that, oh my God, I don't know what people are gonna think. Like, I'm gonna be seen, I'm gonna be heard. Oh my God, it's scary. And then you get the most response, and it's like, so glad I did that. And then it peels a layer off yourself to be able to do it again, and then gives other people permission to do the same.
You're daring them just to be real with themselves. I feel like a lot of times we're just operating from our ego, and not saying ego is a bad thing, but in some situations we don't need to operate from that because it's kind of like a fight or flight mode. But one thing I've noticed with just through observation, we like to be accepted, so we don't want to be seen as weak. But I challenge you, whoever's listening to this, to be weak. Weakness isn't it's not the negative, because good and bad is both subjective depending on perspective. So your weakness is your strength. And when you allow yourself to show weakness, to be vulnerable about how you feel about what you go through. Like, I'm on a podcast, I'm always talking about, my upbringings, right? I lived in shelters. I had to sleep on a pile of covers. I had to, I was homeless for a bit in my 20s. Like, I'm gonna tell you that shit ain't sunshine and rainbows. I wish it was, but for some reason, as a Scorpio, I planned my life to go through this little shit. But now I'm able to alchemize that and show people how. And that's one. And we was talking about this earlier. You said we don't have to suffer, but it's strange because at the beginning, for some reason, we need to suffer, and it's kind of like, and I look at it this way: suffering is how we grow into that best version of ourselves, as fucked up as it is, right? As fucked up as it is. And anybody who's listening to this, but I shouldn't have experienced that. I shouldn't have to go through that. And I agree. But the person you grew into after that, the new awareness that you have, stemmed from that suffering, which I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the joy and the beauty and the power of alchemy, right? Like, I love that. I love that you keep saying that, because, I went through a lot of crazy shit too. And, I had a really crazy marriage, and my childhood was good, but I definitely had, I signed up for in this lifetime to have my voice really diminished, and my throat chakra really damaged, and my heart, chakra really, really fucked up. And some intergenerational stuff that came with it, right? Like, we all have our own journey. and whatever, but feel like that suffering and like the shit that I went through, and like the deep rooted pain that I mean, because there were moments when I'm like, fuck it, like
Yeah.
I'm fucking done with this, and those moments, like I would have never been where I am today if I hadn't went through that shit. And I also wouldn't be relatable, like, right? Like I can relate to like so many of my clients, and there's literally nothing that they can tell me that I'm like, okay, well, that's really fucked up. Like, God, I get it. Like I've
I
been there,
get
I've
it.
done it, I've seen it, I've been there, like, and I think there's so much beauty in that, in the journey where the suffering took place before we became those powerful phoenixes, right?
Come on.
Um, it's just crazy though, but you're right. Like it's like at some point though, you're like, okay, I'm done suffering. Like I don't want to suffer anymore. Like I'm actually ready to live and not just survive.
Okay, question. So you said keyword, I don't want to suffer anymore. You don't have to be, as open and vulnerable, but what was that key part of your life where you was like, I don't want to experience this shit anymore. Something needs to change.
Oh man, well, I got pregnant with my son shortly after my divorce with
Okay.
not my ex-husband, which was crazy, but he literally changed my life. Like my son not only changed my life, but also saved my life. I mean, I was
Beautiful.
drinking like crazy. I was partying like crazy. I was out of control, right? I mean, I think somewhere deep inside me, like I said, I didn't want to do this shit anymore. I didn't care. I didn't want to do it anymore. I looked in the mirror and this reality that I created, and I was like, this is not me. Like
Yeah.
how, and the fear sets in, like, how would I ever start over? How
Yep.
would I ever start over? Like there's no way I'm, 30 years old. Like I'm gonna have to rebuild my life from scratch. Are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
And I looked in the mirror and knew that I had to like protect my son and like be a good mother for my son. And I quit drinking, I quit partying, I quit doing drugs. Like I quit, having one night stands, like all the stuff that I was using to like fill myself with this like, void
Yeah,
filler,
fill that
right?
void. Yeah.
And so I think for me, like it was just like, damn, like I need, like he's part of my purpose. Like my son's gonna be
Yeah.
something fucking great, and like he
He's your
needs me.
teacher too. I'm getting
Yeah,
that message. He's your teacher.
yeah, totally. I mean, he teaches me more than I, ever could imagine. I'm like tearing up, like thinking about it, because it's like I know that the universe, like God, whatever you believe in, like I know that he was sent to me to like to teach me, to show me, to like, to save me in some
Yeah.
respect. Um, and to put me back on this path of purpose and like, teaching people how to transcend their reality and really become these really powerful co-creators and heal, right?
Yeah.
And just help bring humanity back to love and unity consciousness. And I just feel so much like that's like why I'm here and what I'm supposed to do. And if I didn't go through the suffering, I wouldn't be here, right?
See?
So amen.
Oh, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, of course, I'm like, why do we have to go through that shit? Like, some things I prefer not to go through, but it's once you get the end result, it's like, damn, I wouldn't like even now, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change a goddamn thing. Um, I wouldn't change my dad passed when I was 11. I wouldn't change, growing up in shelters, being homeless. I wouldn't change the mental anxiety I went through. I wouldn't change any of that shit. My um something needs to change moment was I was in college. I feel like my true awakening happened in college. I had like mad anxiety. I stayed up to like 3 o'clock in the morning every morning, just overthinking what if. Now knowing I'm stressing myself out, I'm creating that reality that's supporting the what if. And even if it's probably not even manifesting in that way, but the overthinkers that we are couldn't help but to do that. So it's got to a point where it's like something needs to change. And then I went through a breakup because of me, self-sabotage and toxic shit that was on my typical Scorpio shit. And then after that was like the catalyst that really broke my shit open. And then I started seeing like angel numbers and started finding shit and just going down the spiritual path. I was like, fuck, like, did this have to happen? But I don't know. It wasn't until recently. Like that's kind of like why I've been like tweeting from my heart space recently. It's just realizing that the adversity that we went through is a test from the universe to give us what we want, but we have to see it as as a test. Like for example, something occurs in our reality. Most people see it as a negative. Me, I say, okay, what is this showing me? What am I supposed to learn from this? And what is this pushing me towards? So it's switching perspective. So now I'm taking back power, and now I'm like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? I don't fucking know. Surprise me, universe. And it's like some shit you're stressed about that works itself out. But you have to trick your mind, because the mind is just gonna, we aren't our thoughts. We're gonna have thoughts, I don't know where certain thoughts come from. We're gonna have thoughts that don't feel good. Okay. That, that negative thought, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm ugly. I'm this, I'm that. So I'll tell them thoughts like just like if a negative thought come in, like for example, I'm just rambling on. Sorry, right now I'm just rambling at this point. Like I'm at the gym and I'm like, Richard, you're not big enough. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm big as shit, motherfucker. Like we only go get bigger. You fuck off. But it's like you gotta like counteract those negative thoughts kind of shit. But you have it's practice. It's practice. If a thought doesn't feel good, then that thought isn't meant for you. That's my rule. That's my number one rule.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so funny that you say that because I do the same shit. Like, I mean, literally just telling my mind like I am not my thoughts. I am not like you're not gonna sabotage like what I'm trying to do, right? And just kind of like knock that shit off. But no, I mean, I love like what you were saying because I don't know. It's just it's great. It's crazy, right? I mean, it's crazy. So.
I don't get it. Oh, so we was talking about before we recorded about microdosing, and I'm a big freaking component of microdosing. Guys, my episode. I haven't listened to that episode, to be honest with you, so I don't know what I said. I don't know if
You're like, I'm not listening.
I'm not listening to it. Cause I was like, you know what? I want to record, but I don't know how long this episode will be, but I'm gonna just talk. So guys, I don't know what the hell I said in that podcast episode, but I hope that it was some messages for you. Whatever the hell I said, whatever I was channeling in the moment. But I woke up this morning, I went to go lift, and I said, you know what? I want to microdose today. I got some shrooms before, but microdosing for those who don't know, because I don't know if it's anybody like new listening to my show, so I have to like explain shit. It's where you take a fragment of the plant medicine. I do it in a tea form, so I'll just put a little tea, sip it, and I always like to set my intentions for like whatever I want to experience. I personally just want to work on my book tonight, so I'm gonna just microdose and work on my book. But I know I was asking you, have you microdosed before? But you said that you was gonna partake in some plant medicine healing. But I want to talk about that.
Okay, all right. Yeah, no, so I've never done it. And now I'm like, I need to listen to that podcast episode because I haven't listened to that one yet. And I'm going to tell you all the juicy details.
Please don't. Please, I beg of you.
It's going to be great.
I don't know what the fuck I said.
But no, it's interesting, like, right? Because and that's like the beauty when you get to like clear your energetic field and become a clear channel, because what you are desiring in your reality will actually just show up like very effortlessly. And I've been like thinking about this, and I'm like, well, I think I'm like feeling like ready, because I had this like fear in the back of my mind that I was gonna like microdose and like trip the fuck out. So I'm like over that now, but
I think that's the stereotype about it though, because I feel like just like the programming of, because it's something, and I just go straight into shit. I don't just like think about the consequences.
Right, just like dive in, fuck it.
Dive into it. First time I like experienced shrooms, I was in college. Buddy typical bro shit. Hey, let's just trip on some shrooms. All right, bro, let's fucking do this shit. But I had experienced, like looking back on it, telling that story, I had experienced the concept of no time. So imagine just being in complete nothingness for like just that now. And I had a thought when I was talking about this in the podcast. I don't just lose track of shit at this point. I was talking about this in the podcast, and I had a thought like, damn, that's why the creator, whoever the Pied Piper of the shit, created this experience, because it got bored. Like imagine this being just pure nothingness, just in that one
Wow.
space for eternity. You will be bored as shit. Imagine you being locked in a white room for years. You will be bored as shit. It's the same concept. So we created this for us to learn, expand, to grow. I was like, fuck.
Okay, I got chills when you said that. Like it resonated. Like, whoa, that was crazy.
Heavy shit. But it's that little, it's the little shit. It's the little
Yeah.
shit.
Well, yeah, like well, that was really nuts. But no, I mean, I definitely am like just feeling like that's like the next step of my journey is like opening up my being to like really experiencing some shit like that, and like, you know, opening my heart center and just like expanding my awareness.
You're gonna love it.
You know, like
You're gonna love it.
so I just feel ready, and I have this like amazing group of friends out in Utah, like right outside of Salt Lake, and I've been in some retreats. I did this like practitioner training through there, where you actually, I learned how to heal people through like sound, vibrational
I
healing
love
through like
sound
deep
healing. I
meditation.
love sound
I
healing.
know. It's like a sound bath, like get me in. I want to be there. I love it.
I gotta try that one day. I haven't tried a sound bath. That sounds beautiful.
Like the best. And I'll circle back to the microdosing, but people don't even know like music and vibrational
Can we talk
frequency and
about
like
that?
Oh, can I seriously like
Yeah.
it actually like actually will heal your nervous system. It can help heal your heart center. It can help bring your body back to homeostasis.
Yep.
Oh, it's so powerful. I mean, and that like coupled with breath work, like we actually integrate these sessions in my programs with the Toronto
Beautiful.
Sound Institute. So cool. But yeah, that stuff's powerful.
Well, people don't know. So let's take that same thought. Let's take the negative music that you listen to. Those angry lyrics, and it's even, I was listening to a Kanye podcast recently, and he was talking about like the how the music, they target the lower parts of the chakra, right? And even in case some music, it targets the crown chakra, over stimulates it, it becomes open, shit just being, you know, brought into you that it shouldn't. It's like, damn, so all that frequency, because it's like for example, some songs that it just don't feel right for you to listen to, and you immediately cut it off. But you never ask yourself like why. You could say yes, the lyrics, but what frequency are they putting in that song that your spirit is like, nah, I'm not feeling it. I ain't feeling shit.
Man, I feel like that's like a huge tool that's used to keep humanity in lower frequencies.
Yep.
And also not to allow people to discover the power of vibrational sound healing and music and energy in that way, right? I mean, it's, if you look up like the research on it, like back in, you know, like biblical times, like they were doing like sound healings in caves to give like the vibration and like actually heal the human body. Like
imagine being in the caves, like just hitting this.
Yo, I know. It's freaking wild. It's wild. I mean, and you know, yeah, I mean, in this, like, I love talking about this shit so much. Like, you can actually heal your body from like disease and sickness through sound and like vibrational, like frequency. Like, I mean, it's really crazy. So,
because a lot of people don't know, like, it's multiple things that form disease and sickness. It's food, it's the trapped energy that you haven't addressed from, you know, trauma, childhood, shit like that. And there's also just what we consume. So if you're absorbing a media that programming that vibration stays in the body. And then it's
Huh?
just how fucking crazy is it that just that damn, that's even kind of tripped me up thinking about that. I'm getting goosebumps.
It's tripping me too. Me too.
Fuck. Because I have sound bows. And
Mhm.
whenever I listen to, it's like, guys, ask yourself, is it just once is it a song that you listen to that just makes you feel peaceful, that
Mm.
makes you feel just like everything's okay? And I challenge you to question what frequency is in that song that's allowing you to feel that, because there's a reason why you're feeling that way.
Mm. It's like speaks to you. I don't know if you experienced this, but when I got like deep in like my journey and like, you know, did a lot of like healing work, I don't even listen to like mainstream music hardly at all anymore. Like I am
Shit, I
I
turn that
am
shit
all
off.
about like, oh, isn't it crazy? Like just don't resonate. Like I'm not on that frequency anymore. Like it's not a vibrational match.
Nope. Do you find like that with like, because I don't personally watch TV. Like it might be like certain shit
Yeah.
that like just, you know, I prefer, but I'm not gonna, for example, I don't own cable, shit like that. But if it's certain things I'll watch. But it's like certain shit. And it's like this doesn't resonate with me because I know the agenda or the purpose behind it. Even like certain movies. Like I used to be like a big TV movie guy, but like I'm more like, you know, looking up shit on YouTube. I'm guilty of like certain shit on TikTok. I've been going down a TikTok rabbit hole recently. And then like certain podcasts. But for the most part, it's like I know programming behind that shit.
It does change your perspective, right? Like once you're aware of the shit, you're like, okay, now I see it in everything that they produce in like, you know, TV and movies and right. I mean, I, I have a 5-year-old, so like I'm watching a lot of like, you know, Spider-Man and shit, but um, you know, there are like certain shows that like help me unwind, but I find
Yeah.
myself like not even like paying attention anymore. Like I'm just yeah, I'm like all about consciousness and like conscious creation, and it's crazy.
Let me ask you though. So, okay, you have a 5-year-old son. Um, okay, let's just say, for example, he watches something on YouTube or something that you know is like, it's just trying to program you, you know, kind of shit. Like, how are you gonna like navigate that? That's so interesting to me.
Oh my God, it's funny. It's hard. I mean, it's tough because that
Some
shit
shit
is
is catchy. I'm
everywhere.
not gonna stunt. Some shit is catchy.
And it's everywhere. I mean, it's, you know, I think it points to the point of being a parent, and like it's such a responsibility that I think sometimes we don't even take seriously, like that we are, you know, I don't want to say like responsible, kind of like responsible for like quote unquote programming these kids to go out into the world and be good human beings, right?
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, that's all I want for my son, right? Like
Yeah.
I want him to learn how to self-soothe and heal himself and regulate his nervous system and have that, you know, emotional regulation and be able to, you know, not have a childhood that he has to heal from, right? And I feel like that's the responsibility of like this next generation of children, you know, because we're
Mhm.
so aware now, right? Like we know what's up. And
Yeah.
if yeah, I mean, if we're not like teaching that to our kids, it's like, what are we even doing? But I mean, you know, you just got to be present with them and spend time with them and know what they're watching, know what they're looking at, know what they're, and if we're not present and we're constantly just like passing them off on, you know, school or a babysitter or I mean, whatever it is, you're not an active participant in what's actually being programmed in their minds. And you know, you can't be perfect, but you can do your best,
The
you
best
know, and
job you
that's
can.
yeah,
Let me
but
ask you.
it's crazy.
Because I'm curious because I just like when I don't have kids, so eventually when I do have kids, I'm like curious about this shit. Um, like, will he go to like a public school? Then will he go to high school? Like, because me, I'm thinking like, do I want to homeschool my child? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I want to have a community. Like, I don't know.
It is crazy. Oh man, I mean, and he's 5, right? So he has a late birthday, so he actually starts kindergarten in the fall, and
What's his sign?
he's a Sagittarius.
That's crazy. Okay.
Dude, and he already, Rich, already is a risk taker. And like, I mean, you can just tell, like, he is a Sagittarius all day. And I'm gonna like, I have, heart attacks and panic attacks because he's probably gonna want to be like a skydiver or something. But
Let him do it. Let's let him fucking skydive.
dude, I took him indoor skydiving. I already did.
Indoor
He loved
skydiving is
it.
fucking fun. I went in my my 29th. Wait, I'm 29 now. My 29th. Shit, how old am I? I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, no, he loved it. He was like in his element. It was cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm like all down to like let him do whatever he wants. But,
That's so fucking dope.
It's dope, but it's tough, because you want him to have that social interaction and then
we need that though too.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I live in a suburb of Metro Detroit, and it's pretty. I think what they're teaching in schools where I'm at is okay right now. Like, I'm okay with it right now. But me and his dad have talked about different options as far as like private school or I mean, even homeschooling. It just you just kind of have to like take it day by day and like what's changing, what's transpired in the schools.
That's so true. I think too, like you said, hands-on with your son. What did you learn today, kind of shit, or just like. But then even too, like if you are like you're aware as a parent, he's gonna pick up on bullshit because it's just like who you are as just like your dominant vibration. He's like, I wonder if he's ever gonna get to a point where he's like calling out a teacher's bullshit, like. Actually, didn't happen, Mrs. Casey. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, I know. Or like, I always think about, because like I teach him about meditation and yoga and clearing his chakras. Like, he knows all about that. And I just like am waiting for the day when he's like in 2nd grade and he's like, teacher, you really have like a blocked heart center and heart chakra, and you should go like listen to some high frequency music.
Imagine this. Principal call you, right? Meghan, what's your son's name?
Keegan.
Yep. Meghan, Keegan questioned the teacher about having to close heart space. I'm like, that's my boy. That's my boy.
I know. But that's what I'm saying about like, raising kids in this generation to be so aware of like how powerful they are. And
the next generation is gonna like fucking shift this shit.
Yeah, just like shift. I mean, it's like, it's actually really cool. Like I have chills, like when, just talking about this, I think it's, I mean, we can feel it. You can see it, the shift in reality right now. And, I mean, if we can instill like these teachings in our kids, it's like, whoa, how freaking amazing is the world going to be with like a bunch of kids who are like clearing their chakras every day. Like, what?
You want to know like the crazy part about, because I want to transition after this question, because I just thought about this, how some kids and even like teenagers are have more balls than a lot of these adults, like call bullshit, like this isn't right. I'm curious because like what's your, I have and I'll explain why, but what's kind of like your take on everything that's going on? Like, how do you see it from the lens of the creator or the lens of a Scorpio? I'm curious.
Like what's going on with society?
Yeah.
I love that you asked this, but me and you are so aligned. Like every time you like talk, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad he's asking me this. Like, we're so on the same page. But I mean, the whole collective universe, this is like, just my perspective, but the whole collective universe, the consciousness of the earth is going through this like destruction, and everything is like I was talking about in my life, like, a few years back, it just like burned to the ground and then just rebirthed into this beautiful rainforest of like amazingness, right? And I just feel like that's what's happening, like burning the shit to the ground right now. And it's gonna just become this this place of love and beauty and unity, and people coming together and realizing that we have so much more in common than we do different. And and I think there's like these transitions of power, and I think when the world is ruled by love, right, like that's it, right, like that's it. And I just feel the shift. I feel it shifting. So what do you think? Like,
so it's interesting. So I love chaos to an extent. I love,
can
I
agree.
love, I love chaos. Chaos is needed, like you said, rebirth, destroy, build anew. Now, don't get me wrong, this shit is very annoying. It's annoying as shit. Do not get me wrong. I'm very annoyed. I'm not mocking anybody who wears a face mask. I got to put disclaimers out there. But that diaper mask, it pisses me off. It's just pointless. Let's be honest. But I say I have to say, so when shit first popped off, Soul immediately called bullshit. Bullshit. Immediately. What do you mean a global pandemic? Bullshit. Knew it. Fucking knew it. But now, outside looking in kind of shit is needed to waken those who were under a deep slumber. You have to, like, for example, at a point of time they were saying, oh, you get a free tattoo if you get vaccinated. You'll get a free McDonald's, cheeseburger if you get vaccinated. Those outlandish shit that's being said will trigger a person who couldn't see past the illusion. So the most outlandish shit needs to happen to pierce deep in the subconscious to wake you up. So this whole thing is meant to waken those deeper souls. Now, don't get me wrong, you still have to be responsible which timeline you're creating, right? So
Yep.
I could go down, the role of, because it's no good or bad guy in this shit. And I always tell people this: there's no good or bad guy. It's all consciousness playing this role in this expansion of self. The bad guy you see is fuck the man, fuck the power, yada yada yada. That's you as consciousness playing that role to show a opposite, for you to have a new thought, a new I want to experience this in my reality. But you didn't have that new thought if that person didn't play their role. So I express gratitude that you showed me what I do want, because I know what I don't want. Right now, with where things are right now, you have to be careful what timeline you're creating. Okay, so now I'm operating in the space of, okay, we're going to keep waking up. We're going to keep calling bullshit. Things are being exposed and say this isn't working out. Okay. From there, we're going to figure out what we want to be the new transition in power. I guess the new template kind of shit moving forward. But we have to be cognitive. Am I even using that word? No, we have to be conscious. Even if that was a word, I don't fucking know. We have to be we have to be conscious of like what we're doing now, because you got the fear factor is running out. They're running out of fear factor because now they're saying, okay, they've admitted the jab don't work. I'm not knocking anybody who's gotten jab. I love you guys all equally. Jab doesn't work. The diaper mask don't work. We were basically wrong about all this shit, basically. Okay. From there, you just have to determine like what's your, I don't know. It's tough being a creator. I'm sorry. It's just you see certain things and it's like I have to like break things down, and then it's like, because like you get frustrated. Don't get me wrong, you get fucking furied about certain shit. And then you come back full circle, like, okay, I see why that hasn't happened. Then you get back pissed, like,
so true. It's so true. I actually almost wrote this down, but I love that you talk about neutrality. And like there's nothing that's good and there's nothing that's bad. It just is, and certain things have to happen for other things to be created, and what's supposed to happen, right? And and we can't look at the situation as, like you said, it sucks, it's frustrating. I freaking hate it. Like I hate the idea of like hiding humanness behind this like mask. Like there's no humanity in that. I absolutely hate it.
But so accustomed to it.
Totally, right? And we're programming a generation of children who that's all they know, right? And that's all they
That's the
see.
dangerous part, though.
Yeah, right.
So you,
Right. I know.
no, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's like, for example, I see like certain, and I know they're doing it on purpose. You'll see certain pictures on Twitter, and it's like the kids have a mask on, but like the governors or the teachers don't have one on. It's like, what fucking?
Like, what?
Of course, you go be like, well, little Jimmy, you have to wear this mask to protect Susan, and then they'll be like, okay, I don't want Susan to fucking die, so I'm gonna fucking
Dude.
do it.
And that also brings up like the being responsible for other people's feelings and other people's health and like, right,
People
like
pleasing.
having to wear that
People
weight.
pleasing.
Yes, people pleasing, yes, and not taking your own needs and your, I mean, just like you said, it's like a vicious cycle, right? And I mean, it's just important, like you said, to look at it from this perspective of, okay, like this does suck, but like we are gonna get there. We are gonna get there. Like I have faith. I don't know which timeline is gonna be chosen or what that's gonna look like, but I do know that we are moving and shifting and evolving towards more love, right? And if you think about like all the people who are coming out, like finally using their voice, finally being seen, like alchemizing their experience, like me, like you, like all these other creatives. I mean, we're all coming out, and that is shifting, and that is awakening other people as well. So it's just so important to, like, if you're scared, if you're feeling like, oh my God, I can't be myself, like people are going to judge me. It's like, just do it. Just try. Just like, what are you, waiting for? It's like, this is the time to just break free of what's been holding you back and really step into who you are. And I just get so pumped up about it, because it's like, I see these people, like I work with these clients, and a lot of them are, dealing with like substance use issues, and they've been like down and out for years. And I'm like, you are so powerful. Like, you don't even know the shit that you do all fucked up, and you actually get it done. Imagine how powerful you are sober. Like, I mean, without these distractions, without that shit, like, I mean, people don't even realize. And it's like this time of awakening, and it's really awesome. And I'm just, yeah.
You said keyword. I'm gonna be vulnerable again. I abused the fuck out of liquor before. Like we've all, just filling a void. I think me for sure was just like the loss of my dad. That took a big ass toll on me. Big ass toll. And I think too, hindsight, when we do drugs excessively, like abusing it and abusing liquor, we're trying to feel how it feels to be the creator, because it's pure bliss in that moment, even if it's temporary. So that temporary fix is gone. Now we want to re-experience that temporary fix. And we get into the habit, after work, I want to grab a drink. After work, I want to smoke. It's just that habit. And I found that so interesting. I took a break from smoking, because I'm gonna be honest again, I was abusing that shit. Every time I run out of weed, I'm gonna buy some more, right? Because I work in sales. So after work, I'm stressed as fuck. I just want to hit the blunt. I just want to
right.
But then you start abusing the shit. And then I took a break for like a month and a half, and then smoked, and I started getting these downloads again. Like this random questions, like, let me ask you, like the stars, for example, they tell us that it's the end of the burning gas kind of shit, right? But then you see certain ones flickering. Then you have a question. Out of these billions of stars, not one has hit the earth. Not one. Not one. Why is that? Is that really a star? What is that? These questions? I'm taking this deep.
Crazy.
Sorry, I'm taking it deep.
Dude, it's so deep. It is. And honestly, like, okay, when I look at the sky, when I look at the stars, like I just feel very like connected in this like all one of like, I am part of the universe, right?
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck those are.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
But it feels right. Question.
It does.
What do you think about aliens?
Dude, I'm all about it. And when I am getting ready in the morning, I have Ancient Aliens on. I mean, I am listening to, I mean, that stuff is so fascinating and interesting to me. And the amount of unexplainable, just like structures that have been created and civilizations that have been created throughout time. It's fascinating because who we are as humans would not have been able to produce or create those things, right? And even in the Bible, like they talk about quote unquote aliens, right? Like whatever you want to call them, like gods and powerful beings. And so I mean, I definitely believe like there's way more out there. I think that they've been involved in humanity and this life on Earth for a long, long time. I think they're involved right now. I don't know how, but I know.
Okay. Pyramids, right?
Yeah.
How?
Right.
How? Boulders. How? We as men and women back in that day, we don't have superhuman fucking strength. Be honest. Have you? Okay, I don't know if you are you familiar with do you watch any Marvel movies or anything like that?
I think I've seen all the Marvel movies.
Have you seen the Eternals?
Of course, the one that you mentioned, I haven't seen.
Now, I say have to say, they dropped the most gems to me in any Marvel experience. I said to say, so I forgot the character, one of the characters. He was.
I gotta write this down.
Please do.
I'm gonna watch it.
It was one of the guys. He was. I don't want to fucking. Okay, I'm not gonna ruin too much. It was one of the guys. He can control people to do whatever. So I thought, like, damn, let's take the pyramids. Let's take like the boulders kind of shit. Mm-hmm. Was it a being or beings who can just take over the human's will, give them the strength to do that? I was like, fuck. Because before I always thought like, maybe like some telekinesis tech, kind of shit. But I'm like, that's a lot of, like, I don't know. I was like, fuck, could that be?
Whoa, that was really crazy when you said that. Holy shit. It's fascinating.
Funny my shroom story. I love camping. I'm a big camp. So I was in my buddy lives in Colorado. So I'll go out there to be with him and camp in the mountains kind of shit. We went high in the mountains, camped out there and had microdose. Mm-hmm. Before I had set the intention, I said, hey, Galactic Federation or aliens, whatever, communicate with me. Like I know y'all as there. I need you to communicate kind of shit. So it was 3:00 in the morning. I see like a flashing light through my tent. I come out the tent, I see like a little light zigzagging through the sky kind of shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And like I knew, like you, but then that's what I had to thought, like those stars, are they just ships? Are they kind of like some kind of grid? They're not stars. I know that for fucking sure. Are they just the spaceships? I don't fucking know. All I know is someone don't add up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's like fascinating. I love that you brought it back to the microdosing story. That's so cool. But that's what I feel like, it just expands your awareness. And you talk about how you just like we're like the creator and stuff. And I just feel like we can get so many answers from plant medicine about things that we're talking about now, like the stars and like, just how, aliens or extraterrestrials were involved in the creation of these civilizations and, their involvement in humanity now. And I almost feel like that's why these psychedelics and plant medicine have been suppressed by like the government and things for so long, is because they actually do open your perspective and awareness, and you'll get some freaking crazy answers, right?
You see the bullshit. It's this show. I don't watch many shows, but it's a show on fuck. I can't think of it now. It's a show on Netflix that's kind of like a mock of like what the government and like everybody doing kind of shit. What's the name of the damn show? Fuck.
Is it Unacknowledged?
No, it's like a cartoon.
Oh.
What the fuck? This is gonna piss me off. I can't think of it right now.
You're
I'll
gonna think
message
of
you
it
for
right when this is over.
exactly. But they're basically mocking. It's kind of like a mock of like, hey, this is what we're doing, but we're making it into a comedy kind of shit. So they admit
Right.
that, it's clones. They admit that, it's reptilian beings in the government
Mm-hmm.
kind of shit. And like, I know
Mm-hmm.
that's all true. But like they mocking certain
Yeah.
shit. Like, fuck, they karmically they have to tell you what they're doing, but people not gonna
Yes.
believe it. They have to
We
tell you.
are so, oh my God, like I love this. I'm having the best time. I'm so glad that
I'm glad. I'm glad.
like crazy.
But it's little shit like that. It's just like, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
And who knows like what we'll ever know, right? But I love like the curiosity and like the questions. And I think even us just sitting here talking about it, it's like there is something else.
Yeah.
There is something, whatever it is, or else we wouldn't be curious, right? It's almost like I know that's like part of like me, and if it wasn't part of me, I wouldn't be questioning it, and all these people wouldn't be questioning it, and there wouldn't be all this evidence of XYZ. I mean,
But they
that
talk about it.
unacknowledged,
They like
that when I was talking,
yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch
I'm
it.
gonna
It's
because I'm a big
wild.
alien guy. I do think because I personally, I don't know who's watching this. This is one giant experiment of self. Um, we don't exist. Me as Richard, I don't exist. I'm just using this body. We're here to experience, feel, grow, be. Just enjoy the shit. That is a bit scary when you like think of it outside. Like, damn. So who am I? Past the body. But then I challenge you. That's a great question to ask yourself, because then you see that I'm not just this thing. Like when you transition out of this experience, you can't think. Well, you can't think, but I challenge that thought. You can't think that that's all that is. Like I die, Richard gone. It's no more. Like it's got to be more to this shit.
Yeah, and that was like such a great transition because I think that's like why we're here in these human experiences is to become the highest soul expression of ourselves and become our higher selves in our human experience, right? And when we talk about taking off masks and becoming authentic and just being ourselves, that is the true expression of our soul self. That is the point. That is why we're here, right? And then being able to offer this authentic self to humanity and like what is your purpose, and it all relates to love, and like with that comes abundance, with that comes freedom, with that comes joy and happiness, and like right, it's like elevating your levels of consciousness and becoming further and further closer to enlightenment. And I just because we are just souls having human experiences at the end of the day. So it's like, what are we scared of? Fear of what? Fear is an illusion. We're scared of somebody looking at us and saying, I can't believe they're talking about that. It's like, who cares?
Okay, funny story.
I believe this body.
Funny story. For the first time I had smoked in a month, a year. Damn, I'm never going along without smoking. Sorry, guys. A month and some change. I was just taking a walk, and I was like looking at the apartments. I'm like, it's probably people looking down at me right now, right? And I had the next thought, I'm just a character in their experience. They may or may not see me again, right? So why the fuck does it matter? And vice versa. You see somebody dancing in the street, you might think like, what the fuck are they doing? But you never go see that person again. We're just a blimp in the experience. We're all just background characters in each other's game.
Oh, wow, that's crazy, isn't it? Crazy to think about that.
It's
and like
nuts.
Yeah, I mean, we're all just like, it's like just and that goes back, even like time is an illusion, right? It's like it's not even real. So you might as well just do what you want to do, be who you are, and just keep like digging deep into into removing like all that crap that has been put on you your whole life, and just really just being you. At the end of the day, that's all that there is. It's just being yourself, I think. And that will attract your tribe, and that will attract what's meant for you. And it's all really beautiful. You know, we talk about magic, and like, well, like I see magic happen every day. Like I'm sure you can say the same. And it's, you know, people who aren't awake to this experience are like, yeah, right. Like life isn't magic. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, dude, like, please, like, I promise you, just like try to do the work, and you will see it happen in your reality. It's just really cool. So
I always break it down like this. Everyone is operating on a programming based off where they are. Until they adopt new beliefs as true understanding, they're going to see things from that perspective. I'm not meant to, you know, change your perspective. Maybe something we say may plant a seed, and then since that seed was planted, something else may plant that next seed. Then eventually that seed will, you know, grow. But because it's always like that information that we reject. It's like, I don't know, you know, you cause some cognitive dissonance for me, but then it comes back for a circle. We just needed multiple seeds to be planted, and then eventually, with enough water and with each, I'm getting my ears ringing as I'm saying this, the water with the experiences, and then grows, which is fucking nuts.
And it's that, I know, I just got chills when you said that. And it's also remembering that like everyone has their own soul journey, right? And it's not your responsibility to awaken the whole collective, right? It's just your responsibility to be who you are. And that in itself is planting a seed in someone. And you don't even know, like, there could be one person listening to this today out of the whole, you know, number that is listening. And that one person may have heard something that was like, damn, you know, and that's it, right? That's all part of like this interconnected web of like consciousness. And it's just so cool to think about.
It is cool.
You know?
Meghan, so I always ask this last question to my guest. What would your message be to humanity during this time?
Oh, wow. That's like such a load of, I feel like I could say so many things, but I think my message to humanity now is just, you know, despite the fear that you may have of digging deep into yourself and being who you are, I think you just reminding people that they're more powerful than they think. And and there is so much more to life than just existing. And you actually can live, right? And I think that's the difference, is like from surviving and existing to living and truly feeling love and what that really means, and just returning back to love. And yeah, I think we're getting there.
I think I agree 1,000%. This was a fucking fun episode.
So
You're
fun.
welcome on as many times as possible. I don't care.
I would love it. This is great. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, Meghan. Guys, as always, I will provide Meghan's links at the bottom of the description. You can book her services, follow on Twitter, Instagram. You want a Scorpio in your life. Guarantee you. Guys, as always, you're the creator of your own reality. Everything you think, feel, say will shape everything around you. Be kind to others. Be the vibration that you want to see, and turn off that motherfucking news, because they just hijacking your fucking matrix, and we ain't doing that shit at all. Meghan, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much for having me. You're doing you're amazing. Thanks for being you.
I appreciate you. Peace, guys.